Wrapping up the binge watch playlist of Chair Shot Reality on Wrestling Inc. And if you don't want to see our lovely faces, you can always just hear the audio only version available on the Wrestling Inc. audio channels, iTunes, and anywhere else you can get your audio podcasting episodes from. Follow her on Twitter, Katie Arquette. Justin Labar right here. Two topics we'll touch on here. First off, one of the bigger stories, a lot of stories came out of Monday Night Raw, obviously, as we talked about with DX and everything going on. Bobby Lashley, looks like they're finally embracing having a Bobby Lashley heel turn. They conveniently waited until he got through the Australia show where he was advertised to tag with John Cena. Has a match against Kevin Owens, writes Kevin Owens off TV. Looks like Kevin Owens is going to be out for some time having surgery. And the crowd really has not connected with Bobby Lashley, Katie. It's been very forced, very manufactured. It just felt like he hasn't clicked, he hasn't been comfortable. They're finally embracing a heel aggression in him. They've added Lio Rush, which Lio Rush is like this little barking chihuahua, but it's working really well actually in the presentation. He had the live mic talking during Bobby Lashley's, like he had a headset mic and he was just randomly spouting things as Bobby Lashley was fighting Kevin Owens. It turns out Vince McMahon was feeding those lines directly to Lio Rush from the backstage. But I mean, it was so annoying. But I was like, well, this is what it should be because I just want to punch this guy in the face. It was like
getting good heat.
Yeah,
already starting off strong.
I've gotten a bit of heat in my day, and I gotta say the guy. It was. I'm actually finally excited to see Bobby Lashley next week because I'm actually excited that he's going to be presented the way he should be presented.
Well, that's good. I mean, I think it's about time that he has a little bit of a turn. I mean, making him a heel, it's one that's the easiest thing to do. Yes. If you're going to push a worker onto the fans, the best way is to do it as a heel. It's easy to hate someone. It's hard to love someone because you have to prove your worth of love. Well, so as a hate,
it's very deep.
It is deep. I'm
actually on a card.
I know, right? I should work for Hallmark. But it's easy to hate. So whenever they decided to make him a heel, it would be the best thing for him. When they, like the whole Roman Reigns situation, they forced like, good guy, everyone love him. But you can't love someone if they don't have enough, the best way to put love onto them.
And today's WWE is a hard environment. And like John Cena did an interview recently, and he said it perfectly. He goes, the fact that their age demographic they aim towards first is 5 and 6-year-old kids, but then you still have a ton of 30, 40-year-old males. He's like, you're never going to find a babyface in this day and age that everybody's going to like. It's damn near impossible. So, which he's right. The thing I like about the whole Bobby Lashley presentation, so Bobby Lashley is a freak of an athlete. So he can look mean and he could act mean and aggressive, and that fits the bill from the bell-to-bell stuff. He's not, his voice has never matched his appearance, in my opinion. And mind you, he was one of the first interviews we ever had on this show was Bobby. So thank you, Bobby. So I'm not hating on him here, but I think he'd even tell you, if you shut your eyes and hear him talk,
it just doesn't match. It doesn't work.
Right.
It doesn't.
So the fact they found a guy in Lio Rush who is a very effective yapping, barking dog. It's kind of like this is like a good presentation,
and,
and we've gotten away. Unfortunately, WWE's gotten away for a while of using managers and the effect that managers can have. Paul Heyman's been the exception, and now it seems like with Lana, with Lio Rush, it feels like WWE's maybe re-embracing what a manager can do for talent. So this is kind of like the perfect.
It matches.
Yeah.
It clicks very well. I mean, going back to whether you're being pushed to be a heel or a face, a manager's perspective, like they're the ones that you go to. They're the ones that help with that, like the whole Paul Heyman thing. Like Lesnar started off as a heel, then people started liking Lesnar, but it's all about the presentation and how Paul presented him too. So I think Lashley has I'm excited to see him as a heel. I think he's going to be great, like how you said. Braun Strowman has that same thing, that aggressive, the resting face.
You can say it.
Resting bitch face. And
we've said worse on here.
That's true. But Lashley, like he's gonna explode in this heel persona. It's gonna work, especially with who's next to him. It's gonna be pushed very, very well.
Bobby Lashley as a babyface since he came back the night after Mania, so in April till now, it's like there was not enough clicking there. I couldn't really buy putting him in the top of the picture on Raw, but now just by the early way, just by 1 week of seeing him as a heel, I could buy a heel Bobby Lashley with Lio Rush challenging a Roman Reigns for a time. I can buy that now. Again, I know it's only been a week, but it was a good opening impression.
Well, that goes back to where do you put the new guys? That's why this whole evolution thing, what we talked about before, that's why it makes sense, because they're trying to find ways. The newcomers that have a place already and they're starting to go, or plateau rather, what do we do? So the best thing to do for him, because he was so hype, make him a heel. Keep his energy going. Otherwise, what do you do? And then they put a manager with him. So they're really trying to push this. So,
let's not forget. I mean, Bobby Lashley, he's a veteran. I mean, he might give a credible rub to Leo Rush, who's the new guy. Leo Rush is not even. I don't even think he's 21 years old. He's super young.
Baby.
Signed off the independent scene. So this will be. So I'm sure Leo Rush learning a lot doing live TV and getting Vince McMahon feeding him lines. That's a quick tutorial of cutting a promo. Switching gears over on to the Blue brand. Becky Lynch and Charlotte, they fought in Australia, another great controversial finish, and then SmackDown, as soon as SmackDown starts, they're already in the ring, having a match for the title, and another crazy finish. They spear each other through the LED boards, and it's announced that there's going to be a last man standing, I don't know what's politically correct, last man standing, last woman standing, whatever.
I don't know.
It's a last man standing match.
I don't know.
At Evolution. I can't say enough about Becky Lynch. I'm seriously like falling more and more in love each week of just how awesome this is with her.
This whole feud, like that's why they started him off on SmackDown, is because it's so hype. Like, what do you do? And then you have Becky, tweener-ish. You don't know who to be cheering for, Charlotte, the good guy, or Becky, somewhat bad guy. But their chemistry is so strong, and you want to see a last woman match. You know, you want to see who's going to come out. Like, who do you feel would come out?
I don't know. You know, I could see this going back to Charlotte. I will say this: what's really interesting about this match is that you think about the nature of a last man standing match and how dramatic it is for a finish. You know, all the destruction that it takes, and will they get up at the 10 count? I could actually, in my mind, make a case that this should be the last match of Evolution, and even though Ronda Rousey's going to have a match against Nikki Bella, and Ronda Rousey is the #1 focus of women in WWE, Ronda's probably going to go on last, I think. But I can make a case for this because this feud has gone so well. There's so much chemistry, as you said. There's so much fire and heat in this feud. And again, the nature of the stipulation, I would have no problem if they decided, you know what, there's going to be nothing that we can put on after this. It's, because you do this match, and then you put on Ronda versus Nikki Bella, and I don't know how that match is going to turn out. That's a whole other dynamic. But if you put something after this match, they might not be able to follow it. This match might need to go last just to save the rest of the card.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's probably what's not going to happen. Yeah. Like, they're probably going to be right before or a couple matches before. I think that the WWE thinks that Ronda is the main segment.
She is.
Don't get me wrong.
She's the biggest box office.
She's popped really hard for everyone the last however long. However, the feud between Becky and Charlotte has struck so many people that why wouldn't you put them on last? That's not giving discredit to Ronda or Nikki or whichever, but it would make sense because it's kind of like the who was it after Shawn and Undertaker? Wasn't it who was it? Randy Orton and
you mean Undertaker streak?
No, it was something else. I forget. I think it was a Randy Orton match. I'm horrible with my history, but they had the Undertaker match, and it was.
You mean in a card, and then
they were after, and everyone was looking forward to that, and then it's like it went straight down because you thought that's what they wanted, but it's not.
The other thing too is that this feud has history to it. The Nikki Bella Ronda Rousey thing is heavily rumored for a while on the internet, and then when the Bella twins randomly popped up about a month and a half ago and started being buddy with Ronda, it was like we didn't even know they knew each other.
I saw this turn coming.
Everybody saw the turn coming because they knew that they kept hearing the rumor that it was going to be Nikki versus Ronda. So it was like, okay, when's the turn coming? But it felt so the Bellas popped up a month, and I like the Bellas, but I think they get crapped on too much. But they popped up like a month and a half ago randomly, and started hanging out with Ronda Rousey, and then all of a sudden it was like, where did this come from?
Yeah, that didn't make any sense. And I like the Bellas. Don't get me wrong, and the whole.
You brunettes have to stick together.
Yes, we do. I like. I just don't think it made sense because everyone saw the Bellas are not good guys. They're the bad guys, and they're always going to be the bad guys. It's easy to hate than to love, and that's how they've gotten most of their
twins can't do any babyface shenanigans.
No, they can't. They cannot.
You can't do the old-fashioned twin magic switch if you're a babyface. You need to be heels.
No, definitely not.
You can have Becky and Charlotte go last. You can have Ronda versus Nikki go last. I know you're a big Lita fan. Trish and Lita teaming up against Alexa, Mickie James. You could have that last if you wanted for the nostalgia purpose.
No, you can't though, because you don't want to. You want to finish with something that's going to bring people back. Yeah, that's going to be a good ending. That you don't want it to end.
Yeah.
You always want it to continue. You know, you can't stop. I think that Charlotte and Becky should go on last.
All right.
Simple
I'm
as
with
that.
you there.
And I think Nikki and Ronda should go before because they're going to continue this. I think Charlotte and Becky will have an end.
Hit her up at the KT Arquette on social media. Let her know what you think. What order? What should finish Evolution as we get closer and closer to that show. Of course, we'll do our official prediction once we get a little bit closer here on Chair Shot Rally. Of course, Chair Shot Rally every single weekend on Wrestling Inc. Again, you can get the video on the YouTube channel, or you can also get the audio-only version. Whichever you do, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment. Tell a friend. Do whatever you have to do. For Katie, for Josh, I'm Justin. We'll see you next week.